Hey, what's going on, everybody? Max and Tucker here with Because Bitcoin, and today we are going to be delivering kind of a buffet of TA for you guys. We're going to be talking about a lot of the hottest names right now, as well as some of our favorite names that we are currently trading or investing in. Today, the lineup consists of Bitcoin, Kaspa, Solana, and Rollbit, of course. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into the charts. I'm going to go first. I'm going to be taking Solana and Rollbit today, and then Tucker will be taking Bitcoin and Kaspa. And I say let's do Kaspa last, man, the grand finale.
Save it
As
for
they
last.
say.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, as they say, save the best for last. And if you guys are new here and you find any value out of what we are doing, please consider liking this video as well as subscribing. And just a reminder, you can sign up for our premium Discord and trade with the entire Because Bitcoin team and community. We share all of our positions, premium analysis. We do over an hour of private dedicated voice calls every single day. The link to that is down below. You can use the code TwitterBB at checkout for 1 month free of our Discord. But yeah, please, guys, please like and subscribe the video. The reason we're able to grow so quickly is because you guys have always been here for us, and you always deliver with the liking and the subscribing. But let's talk about Sol. So first things first, this is a hell of a move on Sol. I think we can all agree on that. And of course, buying something that is up, and this is the weekly chart here, buying something that's up almost 60% right now in about 3 weeks. It's, it can be a little bit daunting for sure, but I want to really I want to focus most of our time on the high time frame outlook on Solana, because I think that's going to be where the real money and real clarity is provided here. So let's draw some lines. We'll get started here. We're going to start up top, actually. For one, I think that this level is very, very significant. I'll make this line a little bit thicker. If we can get really bullish here, this is going to be a level to watch, somewhere up in this region, because this move down that we had, now going down to the 3-day chart, this move down was very thin. I mean, some volume gaps, very, very thin profile. It was basically just a giant slip and slide, this whole thing. So it's not uncommon after a move like that to eventually see us come back, put in some volume up here on this huge drop, on this huge inefficiency. So we could maybe move somewhere up in there, but I'm going to keep that drawn for now. We're going to keep it moving. Let's go back to the weekly chart. All right. So if we take a look, this is another very significant level right here. Now, the reason this was such a significant level is because you could consider all of this potentially a deviation. All of this is a deviation below fair value. Now, if you pop over, and I wasn't going to talk about ETH here, but I want to just show this as an example real quick. So if we're looking right here, this is that same low. It was that Luna collapse low that was set, and it was in June. So now going back to Sol, you can see that in June we were here, and ETH never went on to make a new low. Bitcoin did ever so slightly, but you can see that Solana got so abused from this FTX drop that it's possible we're seeing a beach ball underwater effect. And all of this right here is potentially a deviation. Or another way to think of it is just we should have never really been down here. When FTX went under, Solana took the blunt of the abuse, the majority of the abuse, and maybe we should have never really been under here. This would be, deep value pricing. So I'm considering this as a possible thesis where this is our range low. You could maybe consider this to be our range high, and this is a major deviation. And it's possible that we come back up and actually retest some of these levels like this, and this would be up here about $50, give or take. Okay. So one thing that I like to focus on a lot with ranges is symmetry. And typically, if you get a deviation to one side of a range, it is not uncommon to see a symmetrical deviation to the other side of that range. Ranges and charts, they love symmetry. So perhaps we could see something like up in here and we spend some time up here and then maybe come back and re-enter the range. But either way, looking very bullish. I'm going to move to the 2-week chart now. We can keep these on here. We'll keep these on here for now. But this is another very significant level, is this 2-week close right up in here. And actually, I will remove this just so it's not too crowded. I was going to keep it, but it looks a little bit crowded. You can see that these two candles right here, these 2-week candles, basically about the same price, okay? Very important level. because we finally broke out above it. And we didn't just break out above it a little bit, we are flying past it. All right. So I would say that if we do get a big shakeout and we do come back, for one, keep an eye on this level, these two week body candles right here. And then we can throw this back on right here, this potential range low. We really shouldn't move down below these two levels right here. If we did get a pullback, something like this, you'd want to see this hold, and then from here, this would maintain bullish structure. Okay, market structure is intact. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We'd want to keep moving up like this. So I don't really know if we're going to get that. I really am in the camp that we just keep moving up from here, at least for the time being. But if we did get a pullback, maybe keep an eye on 27 to 28 bucks. Really, I think sub 30 is a good level at this point. One other significant level that we are now through is right here. Okay, so I'm going to remove these lines now. I'll keep the range low. But you can see here, we got another really important 2-week level. Really, you could even draw it from here. These 4 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that we flipped above these now. This suppressed price for quite some time before ultimately we dropped like crazy. But we are now sitting well above them. So if we can get another weekly close up in here, again, I think it's just even more strength. And then maybe you look for a deviation before a move up to the range high. All right, let's move over to Rollbit. So Rollbit is in a very nice uptrend as well. This is kind of a goofy little line, but all right, you can draw something like this. Let's see how it looks with the log chart. Even better. Some people like to use logs, some don't. I think it's good to just keep an eye on both log and then just normal. But yeah, anyways, we scooped up in the Discord. We scooped up some log. We bought this candle. We saw that we were in a really solid structured uptrend, and we were happy to purchase some RLB right on this candle right here. So we called that out. We're up about 15-20% from that right now, which is going really well. And I think that RLB is a great one. Not that I've ever even used Rollbit. Not that I'm not interested in it. I think it's a really cool idea. But I trade other exchanges and other products, but I'm very bullish on what they're attempting to build out, and I'm also bullish on hype, real utility, and their ecosystem is expanding and their user base is growing. And I'm looking at this and I say, okay, well, it's a really strong uptrend on the lower time frame. So we got our entry down here at just under 17 cents. Let's take a look at the higher time frames. I'm going to take this off of log now. This is a very interesting chart because we're coming into these levels where we're really about to blast through and potentially go to a new all-time high. And we've spent quite a bit of time accumulating down here. And this might be looked back on as your accumulation zone, where now going to the daily time frame, this is your range high, and this right here, this little move that we had, this could have been your deviation. This could be your deviation below fair value, and we might never see this again. Like it's possible we never see this again, and this is your deviation. And again, perfect. Coming back to retest this high, these body candles, multiple bounces off this range low with a nice reclaim. Perfect scenario. This was the perfect long right here, right here after that deviation and reclaim of that really hot level. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, we are getting a little bit tight up here. Things are definitely a little bit excited. This is potentially a triple top, but at the same time, I think that Bitcoin looks good. I think that ETH looks good. And I'm looking at Rollbit going, okay, if this was ever going to be a breakout from accumulation, it would probably be around here, and I would expect us to do something like this, to break out, come back, retest, and then probably just continue blasting off like this. And where we go, I suppose it's difficult to say. We could do a little bit of speculation here. We'll draw some fibs on here. I don't like when it does the background. Let's get rid of the background. But this is just a normal fib. I think sometimes this can work on meme coins. But I think a pretty decent level just for price discovery. I really only use fibs like this when we're talking about price discovery. It would probably be this 1.618, so maybe 28 to 30 cents, something like that. I don't think that would be unreasonable. So it's somewhere in that region, right? It's not going to be perfect, but yeah, if we're talking about a breakout, you know, I think we could maybe even pull a 2x from here. But this is really all of the TA I think you really need to keep an eye out for. I think this is another important level. If we do get another pullback, would be right here. You can see on the weekly time frame how significant this level is, the interactions that we've had right here, and then again right here. Maybe you want to count this, but I don't know if we need to come back and retest it. This one probably does everything that we need. So from here, I would expect a pretty swift breakout, maybe retest, look for that deviation or bear trap. Um, yeah, and then potentially up only. But that said, I'm gonna kick it over to Tucker because we're gonna try to keep this video about 20 minutes, give or take. So let's pass it over to Tucker. Show us what he's got going on. He's gonna start with Bitcoin and then head on over to Kaspa. So Tucker, talk to me, brother. What do you got?
And when you were talking about potential breakout of Rollbit, it had me thinking about Caspa, but I do want to save it for last. So we'll start with what you could maybe call its older brother in Bitcoin. We'll see. But so okay, let's just do some real simple stuff here. So 25K, I was skeptical of it. But it did indeed hold. This is really what I wish I had seen to bid this level. Now, obviously was able to bid some beta up in here, but this action, these wicks should have told me and everybody else that, this is probably gonna hold. And then look what happened, right? So let's just, I mean, that's a little hindsight. So let's just look at the present. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We do have this. What is this weekly? What am I on the weekly? Yeah, I'm on the weekly. Little weekly gap. So what I'm seeing is kind of the midpoint of this. It usually likes to get tagged. We almost got there, right? We got 35.3. I'd like to see a little bit higher for at least a sweep, but actually let me just back up, right? We're going to start on the monthly, okay? The monthly is obviously mid breakout right now, right? The monthly is mid breakout. If this thing closes tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time, where it is right now, I think, I mean, you probably get at least a wick to the downside, I would hope at first, but then you should see continuation, right? Then I would expect continuation in November. If we do start dumping and trading down into like low 32s and this becomes a big nasty wick, that's what I would not want to see. Because historically, November has not been great, especially in pre-halving years. But there are some key differences that we're seeing in this pre-halving year versus previous ones, right? So most notably, 2019, we had the big pump, and then kind of the second half of the year, we just downtrended, pumped, and then we had COVID, right? So we had this clear downtrend in 2019 in the second half of the year. Not this year, right? Not that, I mean, we've been straight up all year. You draw that line wherever you want, but this is clearly not the same environment as 2019 for Bitcoin. So yeah, I would watch that monthly breakout. If we're able to hold like above, I'd say probably this level. I'd want to see it hold above 31.5. I mean, that would be nasty actually. I would want it to close. I'd want it to close higher than that, but at minimum, I'd want to see that prior high hold for sure. But more locally, I mean, I saw this pattern printing on some altcoins, and it actually played. I saw it on Sol actually the other day, and we took a long on that in our Discord, and that played out pretty well. But it's this kind of this fake BART, right? This it makes it look like it's gonna BART, where you get that, and then you just get that, right? And granted, it still could, right? Like we still could come down here, but like right here, right here, everybody thought it was just gonna BART back down. And then right, this is the trap right here. Everybody thinks it's gonna BART, and then they pop it. So that's where you want to be long beta, right? Because Bitcoin only popped a few $100. Well, I guess about $1,000. But that's kind of what I'm seeing locally. From here, I would want to see this protected, just a basic volume profile. We're on the 4 hour. I'd want to see this whole zone be protected at least until the monthly close. This whole zone right here. So let me get rid of this. Yeah, I'd want to see this be protected. If we start breaking and closing and kind of doing like let's drop down to the hour. If we start doing this, if we like come in here and we start doing this, and we end up closing the month like, below these wicks, that would make me a bit more skeptical. But I'd say, I'm bullish as long as we remain above this box. As long as we remain above 34, you can't be bearish Bitcoin above 34K. You can't do it. So that wicked right into that point of control. So yeah, I think you just got to hold here, and that should be the environment to allow altcoins to run, right? Is for Bitcoin to hold up here, not necessarily fly, not necessarily nuke, but just hang out up here. Now the VWAP is a little bit concerning. We're at the top. I mean, if you bounce off of this and continue into November, that's extremely bullish. But yeah, it is just an area of concern, I would say, potentially.
And Tucker, real quick, just to that point, and then I'm going to kick it right back to you. You said if Bitcoin can just hold up here, alt should be able to perform pretty well. And I want to just show you the total 2 chart that I have. So total 2, guys, for those that are unfamiliar, is basically everything in crypto. It's every altcoin, and Bitcoin's excluded. So it's ETH plus altcoins. And you can see here that we're basically trying to break out from right here. Nice little diagonal line. We're trying to break out here, a few stabs so far. And if we do, and Tucker's correct in his thesis that Bitcoin can hold above 34K potentially and just range here, this is an environment that I think is conducive towards alts playing catch up. So we'll see where it goes, but I just wanted to add that in as a point of confluence for you.
No, definitely. And that's kind of what we've seen, right? We've seen Sol be able to pump pretty well, and was at 27 a week ago, like you mentioned. Pepe was up 30% the other day. So we've seen some names pop off while Bitcoin's been up here, but I think they need some more time in order to get that move on total 2 that you're looking for. I am as well, but just wanted to look at these MAs real quick. This would have been your trigger right here, really, right? When all these got above each other just in the correct fashion, right? The 12, 21, 100, 200 in that type of an uptrend, that is your trigger right there. That is beautiful on the 4 hour. So right now it's trying to hold that point of control we showed, and then also these MAs, right? And if we can get back above this 12 at about 34,350, then we could see, probably more range minimum, but maybe another move up. But these highs got to get cleared. That's what I was saying earlier today on our show, Market Check. If you can't clear these highs during this move, you're probably going to sell off. And that's what happened. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Those are the levels. It looks good now. If it can hold, that's great for altcoins. But I want to see this held, and I want to see that monthly close pretty nicely for upside, because if it doesn't, it'll be a little more treacherous in November potentially. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. But let's do Kaspa real quick. Let's do Kaspa.
Last but certainly not least, right?
Certainly not. Okay, so let's just blank chart. Let's just draw some lines. Clean. Kaspa is super, super clean. Those are nice off the lows. The issue that I was having with getting super bulled up at the highs, and I'm sure people have seen people calling for quadruple top even, right? I don't know if I necessarily call it that, but there is something to be said about, this kind of a scenario, right? Like, I don't know. You could even bring this down. That actually, I like that more. Yeah, this level needs to get cleared. These highs need to get cleared. I don't know if it was perps or spot trying to push it up, but if they're unable to, this thing turns around. And Kaspa actually loves to leave equal lows. I'll tell you what, it absolutely loves to, right? Here's 3 of them right here. Here is another 2 right here. So I mean, those would be just right, beautiful buys. I don't know if you get them. There's no in between. Max and I were talking about this before, guys. Like, there is no in between for Castle. We either can't make it above here, and we come down and we tap some levels and we consolidate and accumulate for a little bit longer, which is right, which is fine. Or it's gonna break through here and probably hit like a 5x in like 6 months max, right? Like,
Tucker, which one do you think is more likely, man? Let's not dance around it, all right? Let's not dance around what everybody wants to know.
yeah. I mean, honestly, with Bitcoin looking the way that it is, um, I mean, I would lean towards it breaking out, honestly. As long, okay, it's gonna have to be dependent on Bitcoin's monthly close. I have to be conditional with it. If Bitcoin's able to close the monthly all the way up here above 34K, I have to be bullish on Caspa. I have to be.
Do you think that Kaspa would play catch up? Like, you looked at the Kaspa Bitcoin pair, and is that coming
Yeah.
into a level where you think that Kaspa, kind of like we've been talking about with just alts in general, Bitcoin ranges up here and altcoins will catch up? Does Kaspa fall into that?
Yeah. Oh man, how do I do this?
Do Cas USDT?
Oh wait, it's Cas. What am I
Yeah,
doing?
Cas USDT.
Wait, I wonder if they have. There it is.
Is there? Oh, they got one. All right. We
Maybe.
might need more history than that, though.
Yeah, that's CoinX. Cas
Cas USDT.
BTC USD.
There it is.
So it's up only. It is indeed up only. I want to look at it in comparison just to the USDT price. So higher highs on the USD pair, lower highs on the Bitcoin pair. That's just indicative of dominance going higher during this move up. I would like to see the Bitcoin pair hold this level though, because I see there was an FVG right around here, and that would be the midpoint about this high. Yeah, I'd like to see the Bitcoin pair hold. Because
I
here's the
think it
thing,
just needs to maintain market structure.
yeah. So in order to see, I'd like to see some Caspa outperformance relative to Bitcoin. See, that's what I was saying. Like, we need Bitcoin to go sideways, is what we need. And if we can get that, then I would be betting on the Caspa breakout. But if not, minimum, actually, I don't know about minimum, but this is a very, very juicy level for Caspa. It might come lower than that just because it's tried so many times to break above 5.5 cents that a rejection again, people might get a little discouraged, whatever. It would just probably a decent amount of leverage to flush. You might flush, right? But if we can get this pair to turn around, Bitcoin to go sideways, close the month above 34K, which are all very likely probably to happen, right? Then I would look for the breakout. I mean, you probably hit a 2x with haste on Caspa from 5 cents. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, this level has just been pesky. It's just been pesky. So we'll see. It's going to make a big move one way or the other very, very soon. If I had to guess, probably by the end of the week, we get a trending move. If I had to guess, we'll get that monthly close. I guess we had the expiry options last week, but yeah, I think that is it for Caspa. You break the highs or you come a little bit lower. It's pretty straightforward, but it all depends on Bitcoin like everything else. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking on Caspa.
Just tie Bitcoin up and just do not let it move, man.
I
34K. Let's just
know.
hang out above 34K.
Yeah,
And
let
let's
Caspa
play
rip,
a little
man.
catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kaspa is such an interesting chart because it's a name that we're very bullish on for next cycle. But that level that it's at right now, 0.053,
It's
you know, give
pesky,
or take,
pesky, man.
it's a stubborn level. It's a very
Mhm,
stubborn level. And I'm not that discouraged by that. Um, because if it breaks, when it breaks, in my opinion, we're
mhm,
going to see it teleport. You know, when it finally gives and that sell wall is chewed through, it's probably going to pull a 3x in a very short period of time. You know, it's going to do something wild, but until that happens, you have to respect the level. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to call it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Today we talked about Solana, Rollbit, Bitcoin, and Kaspa, a lot of our favorite names right now, names we've been trading. If you guys are still watching, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. So like the video and subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate your guys' continued support. Furthermore, if you would like 1 month free in our Discord server, me, Tucker, the entire Because Bitcoin team share all of our trade setups and premium analysis. Plus, we do an hour of private voice calls every single day with the premium community members. It's a really great value. 1 month for free if you use the code in the description below, Twitter BB at checkout. Definitely give that a look. I promise it will be worth your time. Would love to hang out with some of you guys, but thanks so much for being here. Like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.